Hey there YouTube, California Prepper here. This is going to be a video that was actually inspired by an idol of mine here on YouTube, Mr. Miami Prepper 1. Sorry about that, brother, I always forget the 1. Jose, you inspired this video, brother. I told you I was going to do it, so here it is. It's probably going to be a part 1 and a part 2 because my camera only records 10 minutes at a time, so anything over that I have to do an extra video. So, to start off, it's not going to be what you think it is. I'll tell you that right now. Most of you guys are probably thinking it's going to be something completely other than what it is. But everything you see here, these are just some bladed items. I really haven't showed you any of this stuff yet. I've had it for a couple years, but I've never really done any videos on it yet. But this video right here is going to be about, you know, what really started zombie fever and what I think about zombies. I've been asked this question, you know, well, not a million times, but probably 3 or 4 times by a couple of my subs sending me PMs asking, you know, do you actually think a zombie apocalypse is, you know, something to prep for? And you know what? The answer is, it's complicated, and I know that seems like a generic fucking answer that everybody says, and but it really is, because to say yes and to say no, it all depends on certain factors. Now, let's just start the conversation here. What is a zombie? What is a zombie? Wikipedia's definition is a zombie is an animated corpse resurrected by mystical means such as witchcraft. So they have a pretty solid definition. Now remember, Wikipedia is not something made by historians or teachers or anything. People you think that Wikipedia is like, oh well, Wikipedia said it, so it has to be true. No, Wikipedia is made by just people like you and me that know something, and they type in a little thing and you add to it. It's just what people think. So sometimes it's not always right. So make sure to do your research. Don't just trust Wikipedia. But for something like this, it's not a problem. But for something that has to be real factual, I'd make sure to check elsewhere. Don't trust Wikipedia. But back to this. The term is often figuratively applied to describe a hypnotized person, bare of consciousness and self-awareness, yet ambulant and able to respond to surrounding stimuli. So pretty much, it's what you see. Just out of your mind. When people are too high or they're drunk and they're just, they can stuff their face and, eat the hamburger, but they can't hold a conversation. That's what they're talking about. So in modern times, the term zombie has applied to the undead being in horror fiction films, beginning in 1968 with the great movie we all know, Night of the Living Dead. That pretty much started it all right there. I'm not sure if that was the first ever zombie film, but that was the one that really set the craze and really set the bar for zombie movies. And especially in recent years, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but every other movie is a zombie movie. So, they're real popular right now. In 1968, Night of the Living Dead was made by director George A. Romero, and since have been countless books, movies, and video games, and countless other things made from zombies with the zombie name, logo, or referring to zombies. Zombies are everywhere. One of my favorite shows, The Walking Dead, is about zombies. That show's badass. I have the 3rd season. I have the first 6 episodes saved up. I haven't watched them yet, just because when I start watching them, I hate having to stop and wait a week for an episode, so I'll build up 5 or 6 of them, and we'll sit down for a movie day, and me and my old lady will watch them, all day, do a little season of The Walking Dead. I love it that way. But I love that show. It's pretty cool. It's getting a little hard to follow from what that I've only watched the first episode of the 3rd season, and I don't know how I feel about it quite yet, but back to this. So really, my opinion on the whole zombie craze, the whole zombie fever is, I think it's great for Hollywood because they're playing on one of people's biggest fears and insecurities. I mean, I know one of my biggest worries has always been a plague or an epidemic sweeping across the planet and just wiping everybody out. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to turn you into a zombie, but that in itself is scary alone, considering it's happened before. All the plagues they had in Europe and everything, they just wipe people out just like that. Whole population's gone because of a plague. It's just crazy. So shit like that could happen, but the whole coming back to life thing, you never know. I mean, it's 2012. With all the technology we have, our scientists are in there tinkering around with some shit. You know what I mean? And you never know. I was watching this one movie, and something happened, and this plane went down in a river. That's what it was. And it was carrying some radioactive or biological, some sort of badass shit. And it went down in a waterway. And really, that would be, the. I mean, if there was if there were aliens and they wanted to come here and kill off the human race, all they would have to do is poison our water system, and within 90 days, almost half the world would be dead, gone, just like that. I mean, you shower with it, you make your coffee with it, you cook with it. Whether you drink bottled water or not, you'd still be infected. I mean, if something hit our water source, we would be gone. And it's just crazy to think, how far-fetched is it to really think that after you die you could come back? That, there could be something. Once you're dead, you don't know. You know, so I'm on the fence there. You never know it. Like I said, you don't know what our scientists or somebody else's scientists. There's people somewhere in some dark little basement with people in cages doing shit to them you probably never could even imagine. I mean, it's crazy, it's scary to think of, but it's true. You know what's happening just as well as I do. So, are zombies too far-fetched? I don't know. It is a possibility, and I think that's why Hollywood is making such a killing off of it, is because a lot of us have that fear, that could really happen, you know. It's just whether it's full out zombie on the movies or not. I don't think it's going to be like I Am Legend where there's superhuman powers and can climb up buildings and, like Spider-Man or anything, but, you never know. But, that movie I Am Legend, that's one of the most, that right there would probably be one of the most plausible ways of a zombie apocalypse happening, would be they go and they do something like they did in that movie. If you guys haven't seen it, they found a cure for cancer, and they tested it on 10,000 patients. It was, I think it was like the measles virus or something, and they went and they tweaked it genetically and, altered it, and then they weakened it and they put it in the body and injected it into the cells, and it killed cancer. And they had like 10,000 patients cured, blah, blah, blah. It was all great. But then all of a sudden, they had to test, but I mean, how long can you really test something? You can test it for 20 years, but what happens after 21 years? You never really know. So I don't know how long they tested it for, but eventually people started turning into zombies, and next thing you know, the whole world was wiped out because it was just like that. I mean, and that shit could happen. I mean, you could go get a flu shot, and then all of a sudden there's a recall. There's been some crazy reports of flu shots causing, this or that, and then all of a sudden you're like, shit, I just got that 3 days ago. And 2 days later, you're a zombie. I mean, it could happen if you think about it that way. I mean, whatever they're making in those labs, come on, guys, they're making something in there. Don't be naive about it. So, do I believe in a zombie apocalypse? I'd have to say, putting it the way I'm putting it and talking about the things I'm talking about right now? Hell yes, I